Hello everyone, welcome to the video. Today we are going to be talking about the Retrofighters Brawler64 wireless. Now, I just received mine a couple of weeks back. I didn't get the first couple of shipments. They shipped gray and I believe another color first. Those went out about 2 weeks or so before, I believe it was red and then blue or whatever they're calling their blue color. And just so happened, the blue is what I ordered. Now, right off the bat, you can see it here. Good looking controller. I definitely like the way it feels. It's more of a, has more of a modern feel to it. So, that's definitely a big pro. Now, I have my original N64 controller here. And as you can see, I'll even do it kind of close up here. The colors are very, very similar. I mean, they done a fantastic job at getting these colors right there close to each other. The only thing is Retrofighters done more of a frosted plastic, whereas the original was more of a clear. And, you know, I'm looking at it on screen here, and looking through camera and stuff, you almost can't tell. I mean, it's difficult to see even in person until you actually hold them next to each other and are looking. You can just barely see that the Retrofighters is just a little bit more frosted than the original was. And I'm not gonna take a point away for it being a little more frosted. I like the way it looks. It's really good. You know, it doesn't have rumble built in, which I can get over. I don't have rumble pack for my N64, so it's not like I'm losing a feature all of a sudden. For the most part, everything that I have to say about this controller is a positive. I mean, they kept the C buttons and the AB real close to each other. I mean, granted, the original only had one Z, but they went ahead and done dual Z triggers on here, which feel really good. The only thing is, looking at it, it looks like it's going to have that long pull like an Xbox or a PS4 controller, but it's not. It's just, see if I can get you in there. It's just really short. That's it. That's all the throw. So the first time or two that you play with it, it does feel really weird because your fingers are sitting kind of way out there and you're looking for a pull, even maybe a similar pull to like maybe how the GameCube triggers were, but you don't get that. It's real short, very similar to how the shoulder buttons are up top. It's not a true trigger pull. It's just real short. Not necessarily a con, not a pro. It's just kind of one of those things that it is what it is. You have to get used to it for this particular controller. It's just a little misleading when you put your fingers on it for the very first time. Now, the next thing that I'm going to talk about is where I feel was kind of the first thing they kind of messed up on. So, if you grab the box here, it is 2.4 gigahertz wireless technology. Now, that was probably the cheaper route to go, but I definitely would have loved it if we had something similar like how the 8-bit do, where you have your pad and it's Bluetooth and it just comes with a Bluetooth dongle that connects to that, you know, inserts into your original port or, you know, whatever. This not being Bluetooth, I kind of have to take a point away for it. Just on the simple fact that if this was Bluetooth and I could hook it up to other Bluetooth devices, then I would use this controller a whole lot more. This would probably be my go-to when I'm doing Game Boy emulation. You know, I would be using this on basically NES, SNES, Game Boy, all of those things. If I'm using it on an emulation device, I would have been using this controller. I would have, you know, I would have done away with my PS4 controllers and, whatever other controllers I got, and this probably would be my primary for playing those games via emulation. So I'm going to get into the gameplay a little bit now, and some of the games I've been playing with this is, of course, Smash. Smash is always one of your biggest testers of controllers. I've been playing a lot of a Japanese version of Mario Kart that I have. And I've been playing Nightmare Creatures. I've also done a little bit of Donkey Kong 64, but not enough to truly give it a test. And basically right before making this video, I was in my living room, which is where my N64 is set up at, and I popped in Nightmare Creatures. This is probably the biggest con of this controller so far. And that is, I don't know if it's a common issue or if maybe my game itself is bad, but I'll put in Nightmare Creatures, and as soon as it goes to boot up, so there's a small LED down here in the bottom. It's right above my finger. You can barely even see it on camera. But it's blinking red while it's trying, when it goes to sync to your dongle piece. And then it goes to a solid red once it's connected. Okay. All of the other games I've tested with, it syncs almost immediately. Turn the console on, it goes to boot the game, bam, it's connected. You would never even know, you'd never even know that there was any kind of lag, because before you get to the start menu, everything's already synced, no issue whatsoever. Well, going to Nightmare Creatures, it syncs on initial boot, or it'll still be synced from having a previous game put together, because it only unsyncs after about 3 minutes of idle. So, if it's still synced from the previous game when I'm switching carts out, as soon as it goes to boot into the start menu, the controller immediately unsyncs, and I get a flashing pink colored light, pink, purple, not sure what you call it, but it goes immediately to that blinking, and it's not paired anymore. It doesn't work, and then, a couple of start presses, or, a couple of button presses in general, and it will sync again. But as soon as it syncs, the down button is immediately held. Now, I was kind of scared. I was worried that it just so happened when I booted this new game in that maybe the controller broke. So I was very worried. So I turn it off. I think I went back to Smash, booted it up, everything worked just fine. The button, the down arrow's not being held anymore. I even went to the character selection, which is what a lot of people use to see if there is any kind of stick drift or anything like that, and it wasn't there. Going through the menus, I could press up, down, everything worked as it should. Go to the character selection, there's no drift in the stick, everything is as if nothing bad ever happened. So, okay, maybe there's just an issue in the sync for whatever reason. Things happen. So I turned it off. I put Nightmare Creatures back in, turn it on, does the same thing. Controller immediately unsyncs from the receiver. I get a flashing pink purple colored light, and then when it finally does connect, it's stuck on the down button, the down arrow. Okay, what's the next step to go from here? So I unplug the receiver for the controller, and I plug my wired controller back in, the OEM. Everything's fine. Up, down, start, in, out, everything's working just as it should. So, okay, I go ahead, start the game, and everything's working fine. I'm moving around. So I unplugged the wired controller, plugged the receiver for the Brawler back in, and the game freezes. Huh. Okay. Maybe this is just another coincidence. So I unplug it, turn the N64 off, wired controller back in, turn it back on, still at the home menu. Unplug wired controller, plug the wireless receiver back in, and it freezes. I mean, this complete freeze, no audio, video stuck. I mean, this is a hard freeze. Nothing is working. There is nothing happening whatsoever. So, that's the only game so far that I've found that happens with. And I don't think I have any other games for the N64 that uses a save pack. Nightmare Creatures does not save to the cartridge. It's one of those games that you need a save pack. So, I am curious if it's going to cause issues with every RPG or anything like that that requires a save pack. Is it going to do it regardless? Is this going to happen every time you try to play one of these games that requires a save pack? Or are we going to be, is it only going to happen if you don't have a save pack? I don't have a save pack for my N64 because I don't have any other games that require it. I mean, Nightmare Creatures is the only one I have that requires a save pack, and I haven't even really played it. I picked it up for a couple of dollars one time, and it needed a save pack, and I didn't want to spend the money or, try to search out an OEM or do whatever for this one single game. But I am curious if anybody else already has one of the wireless Brawler64s, if maybe you have some more RPG games that require a save pack, and you can help me figure out, is this going to happen with every game that requires a save pack? Is it just because you don't have a save pack in a game that requires it? Or even if you do have one, is it still going to cause these issues? I don't know. I'll probably be trying to contact Retrofighters after I get finished recording this video, reporting this issue to them, see if there's something they can figure out about it. Maybe they don't know about this. Maybe, they're the same way I am. You throw Mario 64 in, Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, Smash. You put all those in, and you are unaware of this problem even existing. Maybe this is the only game that has this bug. I don't know, but I could very easily see a lot of people not coming across this issue because there's a lot of those games that, are not going to get played. The people that are buying these are not necessarily the same people that are going to be playing these small games. I just so happen to have done it just because it was the game that I grabbed. So I just kind of wanted to bring this issue up, maybe give something for you guys to test out and see if you have the same issues. So for the most part, I feel the Brawler64 wireless is a very good controller. It is a very good thing for the N64 community. Yeah, overall, it's very good. I have very minor complaints other than the issue with the Nightmare Creatures game. So, overall, I would recommend it. I think it's very good. I definitely love it for some Mario Kart. Mario Kart's my main game that I play on N64. So, I mean, I went through multiple GPs, and I never had an issue. Everything worked great. I loved it. So, if that's the games you're going to be using it for, I highly recommend it. If you're going to be using it for some of the third-party transfer pack games, then I would wait. I would wait or I would be very cautious. Because as of right now, the only game that I've tried that uses transfer pack, save pack, whatever it's called, the only game I've used so far that requires that, pack for saving has been 100% unplayable with the Brawler64. Hopefully this is not a common issue. Hopefully this is something that maybe there's a firmware, some way that these can be updated, or maybe a new version of these could come out and it's going to fix that bug. But regardless, it is a very big bug. It is making games completely unplayable with the controller. And hopefully I can speak to Retrofighters and they will address the issue however they can address it. So, thank you guys for watching. Let me know your opinions as well, and if you've had these kind of issues. And I will see y'all in the next video.